Kerry, you just heard Cameron talk about some really cool ways that people are able to give back to the community or charities using iTax and trade, especially as a business owner.
Yeah.
You work with a lot of NFL, ex-NFL players, current NFL players. Talk a little bit about JumpIt Media first, and then maybe we can tie that into to how other people who maybe have events.
Yeah. Well, at JumpIt, what we've done over the last few years is kind of tried to focus on influence as a tool. How do you use it? How do you measure it? How do you leverage it? And you can leverage influence for many different ways, just like Cameron was talking about how you kind of can use it as a trade. We can essentially leverage influence the same way for profits, for events, for campaigns. And a great example is what we're kind of working on right now with Richard Sherman and his softball game and softball event, where we're doing an actual in-person event. We're leveraging his influence. There's a huge charitable component. Over 50% of the proceeds are going to charity. But we're also doing an online campaign that features Richard, features a lot of the other celebrities from the area, guys that are flying in from out of town. And, they're able to leverage this to really push a lot of awareness to a site, to the event, but also to Richard's brand as well, and to their brand with the affiliation with the event and with the other celebrities that are involved in this. So I think it's a really cool and unique thing that you're able to do, and we're able to involve a lot of local businesses and organizations that wouldn't normally otherwise get that type of affiliation. They wouldn't necessarily do a sponsorship with one of these guys, but being able to kind of jump in and be a part of this event gives them that affiliation, which really helps their brand as well. So for us, it's all about how you leverage it.
Yeah, and look, I definitely want to get into the Richard Sherman softball game here at the end of this. Okay. But in the meantime, when somebody has a business, let's say they just want to they're having their charity event, mid-sized business, how does JumpIt Media then potentially leverage influencers to draw more attention to this one person's charity or this business's charity event or whatnot?
Yeah. Well, in a similar way, we're able to just use the person's name, their brand, their local equity, as we like to call it. And we think it really works well on a local level because there is that familiarity with the name, whether it's a retired athlete, a current athlete, anyone of high influence with a big, really big reach and social standing. Any charity that wants to utilize this, we're able to kind of bring them in and have them throw out a blast to let people know, this person will be here on this day. This is another reason why you should come out. And then we also offer different prizes and experiences, which is a big focus for us, is this experiential aspect, whether it's a tour of the Seahawks facility or tickets to the game, come up to the suite, come down on the field before the game, meet the players, memorabilia, signed memorabilia, all the things that we know fans are interested in, and charities can leverage to increase their viewership and increase their reach, and also turn that into cash. Just
it's silent auctions or out loud auctions.
Yeah, or out loud, yes.
Kerry Carter joins us, Chief Operating Officer of JumpIt Media, discussing all the different ways that current athletes, local celebrities, past athletes can really be used in order to gain attention for a cause. Are there any specific examples you have of utilizing some of maybe your clients or your influencers in ways that have been able to drive attention to a cause?
Yeah, I mean, on the for-profit side, last year? I believe it was last year. We did an event. We worked with AT&T, was a client of ours, and they were doing a hackathon down at South by Southwest. At initial, when they started initially promoting it, they weren't getting the traction that they wanted. They weren't getting a lot of people signing up.
What's a hackathon, by the way?
So a hackathon is it's basically
I forget.
Yeah, so basically a 2-day event. You bring in developers from all over the country. You give them, a timeline of 24, 48 hours, and they just go. No sleep, a lot of Red Bull, pizza, all that stuff.
Got it.
And at the end,
it's a techie thing.
Yeah, and they come out and present in the end. So we kind of JumpIt. We feel like we sit at the intersection of sports and technology, and so they came to us and said, "Hey, we're not getting the traction we want. We want to make this a bigger event. Can you guys help us out?" And so we actually got in touch with one of our friends, Lance Briggs, for the Chicago Bears. We knew that Lance was, looking for something, in terms of an app to get his name out there, but also to get his charity out there. And so we brought him in to South by Southwest. They were able to kind of use that as, hey, come and design this app for Lance Briggs. So we got kind of a mix of, sports fans, developers, press, and it actually became one of the highest rated events of the South by Southwest Interactive that weekend. So that's a perfect example of how you can really leverage someone's influence. And in the end, Lance got a really cool, app out of it as well.
And it drew a ton of
attention
to his charity.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really, it's using that celebrity of people in order to garnish, attention towards a cause.
Yeah, and you can focus that attention wherever you want, and that's kind of, our specialty is looking at the numbers, looking at the data, seeing what your KPIs are, what are you trying to get accomplished, and then what we can do to kind of move the needle in that direction. So whether it's bringing in the right celebrity, pointing it to the right cause, whether it's for-profit, not-for-profit, memorabilia, any of those things, we can kind of make sure that you're going to get a measurable result in the end.
Sure. So, Kerry, let's talk a little about the Richard Sherman Celebrity Softball game that we're putting on here July 7th at Sheeny Stadium.
Yes,
this is not just Richard Sherman.
And friends.
And this is Richard Sherman and friends. And for any Seattle sports fan out there, I mean, it's not just Richard Sherman. We're talking Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson.
Yep.
Half the Seahawks, I think, are coming at this point in time.
A lot of the guys are just going to be there. They, we couldn't have everybody play, but a lot of the guys will be there. We got to make sure we got, some type of jersey so that they can feel like they're a part of it as well.
There you go. I mean, Terrell Owens, T.O. is coming.
T.O.'s coming. Larry Fitzgerald's coming in. Claudia Jordan's coming in. A lot of people.
Yeah, big names. And so when you start putting this together, and we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it. There's an incredible amount of attention. In fact, I mean, it not only has gone out throughout the city, but by putting these names and having Lance Easley, the referee who called touchdown for Golden Tate,
right
that put this event on the map nationally. I mean, where it was on Sports Center and Sports Illustrated and CBS Sports and Yahoo.
Yeah.
And that was an unintended consequence of bringing two people together that garnished huge amounts of attention.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to the marketing geniuses who thought of that one. Ben. We'll give him a little bit of credit for that. But no, it makes a lot of sense. But like when you bring all those people together and then you do something like that, that's just unexpected, that's controversial. It kind of reflects Richard's personality a little bit too. So people really appreciated it and thought it was hilarious, but they thought it was genius as well. And like you said, the entire Seattle community, whether you're a basketball fan, football fan, just a fan of Seattle in general, like this is the type of event that a family can come to, bring their kids. You can be a super fan, you can be a casual fan. It doesn't matter. You can get something out of this event, and we've seen really with it going national like that. And I had a meeting yesterday, and the gentleman I met with told me he heard it from 5 different people in 5 different parts of the city that had nothing to do with each other. So I feel like, we must be doing something right.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, thousands and thousands of people are expected to be there. And, but it really comes down to, as we talked about before, it's for a charity, but it's the star power. It's the celebrities that are drawing people. Yeah. I'm sure if it was just Richard, we'd sell, their tickets would sell. Yeah. But as we've added, and you've seen this as well as I, as we've added Russell Wilson and Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and Pete Carroll and all these people to, you actually see measurable results from adding new people.
Yeah, and you can see, in terms of, you have like an expected result, so you think, hey, if we add this guy and this guy, we think this is gonna be the result. But we've seen that the local attention and the local focus especially for Seattle fans, are very cliquish that way. That they've really responded to that, with the exception of probably Lance Easley.
Yeah,
but. That's the Seattle thing as well. He's a Seattle hero here, pretty much.
the 13th man.
Yeah, the 13th man.
That's right. Kerry, just have about a minute left before we have to go. But so when you start to see what a huge group of people can do for an event where you can end up, thousands and thousands of people and national attention. Now, of course, not every event is going to garner that much attention. But when you break it down to maybe having one athlete or one celebrity being able to get some attention to an event, how do you measure it, and how do you determine which celebrity might be a good fit for which event?
I think in terms of benchmarking it based on, that's the easiest thing for us to do is benchmark it based on last year's result. Okay, so if it's a campaign, the last time you ran this campaign or at this point last year, that's how we kind of determine, well, did we get a lift? Did we get the same result? Or, did we really have an effect? And in choosing the right celebrity, it's kind of, we're trying to match up personalities. We're trying to match up causes, motivations. And so there's some that, might be a little bit more reserved, but they have a really big passion towards a certain area. And so we try to match those up. Or if it's someone that's a little bit more outgoing or on the edge, then we can take a little bit more, we can take some chances with that. So I think it's kind of a matchmaking thing and putting the right personalities in the room and making sure that your goals are aligned so that each party knows that they're going to get something positive out of the situation.
Certainly. And, knowing that that celebrity has some real passion for the charity is a big thing because nobody wants a faker out there.
No, exactly. We want them to be advocates for it. So they're already influencers. If they're advocates, you put those two together and you have something really powerful.
Yeah. And so if people are interested in going to the Richard Sherman softball game, they can simply go to richardshermansoftballgame.com.
Yep,
there are
easy.
some tickets available and lots of fun giveaways, and you will see, if you're a Seattle sports fan, there is truly no better event that I can think of if you want to go see some of the greatest Seattle sports figures in the history of Seattle sports.
Yeah, definitely. And, stay tuned. Get on the Facebook page, Richard Sherman Softball Game, the website. And, you can even up at the stadium, if you're up at Cheney Stadium, you can purchase tickets as well. So.
And it's presented by Look Larson.
Yep, Look Larson, Debbie Maycomer. There's a lot of really cool sponsors involved, and also produced by JumpIt Media and Brassionomics. You guys are
we're
doing
excited
a great
to be a part
job.
of it. Yeah.